Hey Hogs, I'm going to go over our day four play that we're putting in for offense. It's counter. I'm going to go over the rules and then show a little bit of video on it as well. Okay. So power is so we put in trap the day before, and just like trap, it's a pull play. So on the front side, everyone is blocking their backside gap, not their front side, like on sweep and dive. Okay. When we don't pull anybody, we're all blocking the same direction to the front side. When we pull somebody, we all have to block back to cover for that guy that is pulling. That's why we have to block back. It's because we need to cover for that guy who is leaving. That is the reason we all block back. Okay. So the center, play side guard, and play side tackle are now responsible for their backside or their inside gap. The backside guard is pulling and kicking out, and the backside tackle is wheeling and sealing. So you have to know if you're on the front side or backside. Then you have to know you are blocking your backside gap, but we're still using our gap rules. We're trying to get lateral movement. We have leverage to where the play is going because we're blocking back. So we are using our drive, but in this case, it's called a down block. It's the same thing as a drive block, but it's a down block because now we are blocking our backside gap, not our front side gap. I wanted to differentiate the two. Okay. So the technique is exactly the same, excuse me, as a drive block, but you are doing it in your backside gap instead of your front side gap. Okay. Now, if you're double teaming, it is still a push double team. Okay. Just to your backside. All right. We are using the double team where we have leverage to where the ball is going. Okay, so play side tackle, play side guard, and center are all blocking back. We're running counter to the right, and they're all blocking their backside gap. So the center is responsible for the backside A gap, guard is responsible for the play side A gap, tackle is responsible for the play side B gap. Okay. So you have to do your progression as you do it. So if there's someone in your gap, you down block them. If there's not someone in your gap, you check head up. If there's someone head up, you know you are double teaming with the guy play side of you. Okay. So this would be a push block. And now what's different and what's nice about our pull plays is that your rule is gap on double team to the first backer inside or backside. I just like inside because that sounds like FBI, and we know what the FBI is. It's easier to remember. So you're doubling to the first backer backside. So this time the center and the guard are double teaming to the backside backer, the first backer inside. So the center would ID this backer as the backer that he's working to. He would say push to number 56 or whatever number this guy is. Okay. So they know they are working to him. Okay. The backside or play side tackle. There's no one in his gap. He has a four technique right on him. So he is going to block this guy solo. Okay. He's going to do his normal covered block like he would if he was doing a push double team. He's going to take two steps, get two hands on him and lift him and try to drive him straight back and take this guy where he wants to go. Okay. This is a man block on this guy right here, just taking him where he wants to go. Okay. The backside guard is pulling and kicking out the first person outside the tackle. Okay. So here's the way to remember who we kick out on trap, power, and counter. Okay. Trap, we trap a two technique. So first guy on or outside the guard for trap. Trap a two, they both start with the letter T. So we know for trap, it is from the who head up from the guard and to outside. The first guy that's head up or outside the guard is who we're trapping on trap. For power and counter, the next two plays we put in, power and counter, they both have more letters than five. Okay, they have more than 5 letters. So we are kicking out a 5 technique or wider. Okay, a 5 technique or wider. So the first person outside the tackle, which would be a 5 technique or wider. So in this case, the guard is going all the way out to an outside linebacker out here. Okay, against a different defensive front. Okay, it could be a 5 technique, but he is kicking out the first guy outside the tackle. So a 5 technique and out. So the way you remember that power and counter, they have more than 5 letters. So I know that I'm kicking out someone that's more than a 5. Okay, for power and counter. All right. And then ghost. Ghost is the last play that we put in, that we will put in. And for ghost, we kick out the first person on or outside the tackle. So that could be a 4 technique and wider. The way you remember that in the movie Ghostbusters, if you have ever seen it, movie Ghostbusters, there are 4 Ghostbusters. So there's 4 Ghostbusters. So we kick the number 4 or wider. Okay. It's going to take you a while to memorize it, but there's some different ways to remember it. Okay. Trap a 2. So first guy on or outside the guard. For ghost, there are 4 Ghostbusters. So it's the first guy on or outside the tackle. So a 4 technique or wider. And then for power and counter, they both have more than 5 letters. So we kick out the first person outside the tackle. That makes sense? Well, it will make sense eventually. So on power and counter, we kick out the first person outside the tackle. So the backside guard pulls and kicks. The H is responsible for the play side inside backer, that he is skip pulling and leading up to the play side inside backer. So he's responsible for the play side backer. And then the center and the guard, play side guard, are working to that backside backer. Okay. This tackle, I know, has it drawn up to go into this linebacker. This tackle would work all the way back as well, because the H has that play side backer. But as that tackle goes there, if this linebacker crosses his face, he's going to pick him up. Okay. We never run by an ugly jersey. We always pick him up if we have to. Okay. But the H is responsible for the play side inside backer, and the backside tackle wheels and seals. He goes from the B gap, trying to help cover for the guard who's leaving. If someone's there, he will block that B gap threat, try to scoop them and try to get in front of them. If there's no B gap threat, then he will turn back for the C gap defender. Okay. Oops, didn't mean to click that. Library. Okay, let's watch some counter from last year. All right, here we go. Let's watch some good ones. Hopefully they paint a good picture for us. Okay, here we are running counter to the right, offensive right, our left. So let's go through our progression here, our rules. So these guys are blocking to their backside gaps. Okay, he's pulling and kicking out. He's wheeling and sealing. He's leading up and through the hole for the play side inside backer. Okay, so play side tackle checks his gap. There's a guy there. He's down blocking him. Okay, this guard, there's no one in his gap, there's no one on him. He might think that this guy's on him, so he might honestly have a push block. He might say, hey, push to this backside back or whoever that is. Okay, so they might have a push block, or he might be doubling with the center. We'll see what they called. Okay, but he goes through his progression, the center, there's no one in his gap, there's a guy on him, so he is either doubling with this guard or he is blocking this guy solo on his own. Okay, so we'll see what happens on the front side. Okay, our tackle steps down, gets the head on the near number, and is trying to drive the guy laterally from away from where the play is. We're trying to create a funnel on the outside part of the tackle. Okay, we're kicking out and driving down. Okay, we're trying to wash everything down. we're trying to drive everybody past the backside tackle. We're trying to drive it as far as we can laterally, and then we will kick out the front side, and then we're trying to run the ball downhill. The aiming point for the running back is the hash mark. He's trying to run a yard outside that hash mark and just run straight downhill because we're trying to wash everything past. Okay. And then kick out whatever's to the outside in the C gap. Okay. So our tackle is trying to drive down and wash him, which he does right here. A really good job. Okay. Our guard. Okay. He's got a push block. Notice this is excellent. He's down on the hip, punching it hard. Okay. Our center has lifted this guy up. So we get a great push block. And then this guy's going to come off to the linebacker because the linebacker is flown over the top. Okay. He's just there a little bit late, but that's okay. He'll go chase him and try to push him past where the hole is. Okay. Our tackle needs to step down a little bit harder, but notice he's stepping down to protect the B gap. And then he turns out and tries to turn this guy away from where the play is going. But notice how we're trying to create this wall on the backside and then this kick out on the front side. Okay. So Burke, he turns and he stays nice and tight to the hole here. Okay. He wants to get his head on the inside part of this guy. He doesn't do that. Okay. He needs to be attacking the inside part so it's easy to kick him out. Okay. And then our H is leading up and through to that play side inside backer. Okay. He gets caught up in the wash a little bit. He needs to make sure he gets nice and deep to go block this guy, because if we block him, okay, we'll get more yards. Okay, next one here. All right, this is a great one to watch here. When in doubt, block your gap, guys. Okay, so we're running counter to the left. So gap on double team, he has a guy in his gap, he's blocking. This guard has a guy in his gap, he's blocking him solo. He has a guy in his gap, he's blocking him solo. Okay, this backside guard kicking out, first guy outside the tackle, which is him. Okay, backside tackle has a B gap threat, so he's trying to scoop this guy and trying to get in front of him. Okay, H is pulling for the play side inside backer, but if there's no one to block, if that guy's on the line of scrimmage, our lineman will block him and we'll treat him like a lineman, then he's just looking for the next guy inside to block. Okay, so let's watch what happens. Okay, we get our head on the play side number, we drive him down, we're trying to drive him. Okay, we're trying to wash all this past the backside tackle. We're trying to wash it all the way down to create a big hole right here that I can drive my car through. Okay, we end up doing that. You see this big hole right here we're able to establish, and then we're off to the races. Okay, and this is against the best team that we face every year, St. Thomas. Okay, this is a play working against a really good team here. Okay, but notice everyone has someone in their gap. That's the first part of their progression. So they all block down. We kick out. Okay, we wheel and seal and we pull up and through. Okay. Slow it down. We try to wash. There's the kick out right there, and that's where we're trying to run the ball. Okay. Right in that hole, and we're off. Okay. That's a good example of what we're supposed to do. Front side, you're responsible for your backside gap. You go through your progression, gap on double team. We're doing pushes and down blocks to try to drive them away from where we're running the ball. Backside guard is kicking out. Backside tackle is wheeling and sealing.